Smile, be, chat, join for networking.
Now, before I start, everyone always asks me, why do you wear the t-shirts like that? Well, for a couple of reasons. For far too long, I've been under the limelight and just mixed in with everyone else, just blended. So I want to stand out, and that's why I wear this. And my mum always said, be smart, dress smart. So I hope my tie's straight today, and I'll begin. So why am I here today? I'm here today because, for a number of reasons. Someone asked me a very interesting question last year, and she said to me, Kirk, why was you put on this planet? And I simply answered by saying, because I'm here to change things, and I am here to change things. And I'm on a personal mission, and hopefully at the end of this talk today, you'll go away with a better understanding of the subject, which is dyslexia, and why I'm stood in front of you today. So when I was at school, we had to read in class, and the book was Watership Down. And I could remember frantically looking on the page and reading the words, so that when it got round to my turn, I didn't say the wrong thing. Because kids can be pretty brutal, can't they? We've all been there. So, and millions of people go through that every day, and they're dyslexics in work or in school. I left school with average grades. And I didn't know what I wanted to be when I left school. I don't even think I still know what I do now. But I was a butcher, and I did that as a job, because that was a logical thing and the easiest thing for me to do. And I did that for several years. And then I gained a job with Kellogg's in Trafford Park in a logistics business. And now, without turning this into a full-blown CV, I took every opportunity for development and training, and I find myself several years later a senior leader within a global cement manufacturing business. I had amazing results, highly motivated teams, and I was respected by my peers and the senior leaders of that organisation. But I was still hungry for more. I still wanted to progress. So I left that behind and went working for another global business with some 500,000 employers worldwide. I had a budget of £23 million a year, 250 staff, 3 sites. I was going places. But something really strange happened. I went from being a hero to a zero in a very short space of time. See, my boss was picking me up on things like the use of words like where and were and there, and some of the grammatical things I was doing and some of my writing. And no matter how much I tried and focused, I just couldn't get it right. And it really got me down to a point of breaking. And a friend of mine said, I think you're dyslexic, Kirk. What? I'm 44, dyslexic. So I went and got tested. And yes, I was diagnosed at 44 as being dyslexic, which explained my current struggles and my previous life experience. See, I'd gone from an organisation where all my interactions with my team were like I am today. It was visual, it's motivating. These are our problems, guys. Where are we going next? What are we doing? Come on, let's do it. From that to writing reports. And that's where it gets highlighted for a lot of dyslexics. So what do you do when you're 44 and you discover you're dyslexic? I'll tell you what I did. I quit my job, I started a business, and I went to university. Because that's what you'd all do, right? And I'm immensely proud to say in 2012 I graduated from Coventry University with a master's degree in global entrepreneurship. Now, I went to university for a number of reasons. One reason is I'd always looked at people with a degree in work and thought, they must be clever, I'd love a degree, I'll never get one. And the second reason was to give credibility for what I want to do. Because I'm not just another disgruntled dyslexic with a chip on his shoulder. I've researched this in university, and my dissertation was Are Dyslexics Predisposed Entrepreneurs? So what I'm going to do for you today is consolidate those 14,000 words of blood, sweat and tears, because they were, into something that you can understand. I'll take the technical jargon out of it, and hopefully you won't glaze over, and I don't even want to go through it anyway. So what is dyslexia? Dyslexia was first noted in about 1896 when a doctor was researching a young boy who didn't have the ability of language, couldn't read or write. And then he also noticed that patients that had had head trauma to the left hemisphere had also lost the ability they previously had of language. And it's first noted dyslexia, or word blindness. And I still find it immensely frustrating that in 2016 we've got people in academia saying dyslexia is a myth. It doesn't exist. Now that's not very good for people like me or other dyslexics out there. It's a myth. We're hiding behind it. Crazy. And it's also on the spectrum of learning difficulties. So you've got dyslexia, dyspraxia, autism and ADHD. And that further puts dyslexics down and gives the wrong message to non-dyslexics, because you've got a learning difficulty. You're not as clever as anybody else. Oh, there's something wrong with those people. Not good. I think we need to change that perception and that terminology. It's just that we don't fit into the sausage machine that society and education has put in front of us. We don't learn the same as the majority of the population. So we're seen as being different. We're seen as being something wrong with us. And that is clearly not the case. And whenever I ever tell anyone I'm dyslexic, they go, Richard Branson. And I go, oh yeah, Richard Branson. Because everyone says Richard Branson. But there's some amazing people out there. Theopathetus, Steve Jobs, Einstein, Winston Churchill, Robbie Williams. The list is endless. I could go on and on and on. And they're normally quite high in their respective fields, whether you like those individuals or not. And when I was researching, I looked at numbers, because I like numbers. So 10% of the population, 15% population dyslexic, 3 to 4% of CEOs in large corporations are deemed to be dyslexic, quite a low number. 30% of entrepreneurs are dyslexic, roughly. So not all dyslexics are entrepreneurs, and not all entrepreneurs are dyslexic, but still a high number. And I was like, why is this? Because even in my class, in uni, about 50–60% of the class were dyslexic. Why are people gravitating towards this? And that's why I went on the path that I went down. So it's really interesting when we use those numbers. So how I like to explain dyslexia, I'd like to explain it in two ways. And the first way, to make it quite simple for people, if you can imagine over here is a library. And this is a non-dyslexic mind. So stuff is stored in the brain like a library, in a bookshelf. Easy to take out and put back information. Because language is made up of several elements. The visualization of something, how you say the word, how you write it, and how it's spelt. And in the non-dyslexic mind, that comes together in a split second. So, for example, if someone was asking for a pen, they'd just say, can I have the pen? And if they're really polite, they'd probably say, please. So that's a great system, it works brilliantly, but it's got some disadvantages. Over here, I've got the dyslexic mind. Imagine a cylinder, not this organised area over here, but a cylinder of information. And things that are similar will be grouped together. So leaves and feathers will be together because they're very similar. So in the same scenario, when the person out to ask for the pen, they might even ask for a pencil because it's similar to a pencil. And it's not habitual, it's not natural, it's not automatic. So the dyslexic goes straight into the memory bank and goes, pencil, which is not very good. It sort of puts you down again. It's worth remembering that. And also, your brain uses probably about 20–25% of your body's energy in a day. And in dyslexic, that's more, because the brain is working like a steam train all day, trying to work out what's going on. Active working memory is going crazy. So if you've got any children or you're dyslexic yourself, focus on those high brain activities first thing in the morning, when your brain's fresh. A good tip for you, that. So there's the two systems, and that's got some great advantages. I'll talk about them later. And everybody in this room probably uses a Mac or a PC, personal preference. Now, they broadly do the same thing, so you can write amazing blogs, you can surf the internet, you can do your accounts, whatever your thing is. But when you try and get those two pieces of equipment to talk to each other, they can't. Because they're fundamentally, inside, they're wired differently, they store information, retrieve information, and process information differently. Now, everyone in this room is an entrepreneur, and you'll understand this when it's taken to real life. Because when you go and talk to a non-entrepreneur, and you give them the great idea that you've got for something that you've thought about, or an invention, they go, what are you talking about? That's a stupid idea. Well, that'll never work. So you'll find yourself taking several steps back to where they currently are in their mind, and slowly walk them to where you are now, to take them on your journey. And it's immensely frustrating, I'm sure you imagine. I'm sure you've all been there, haven't you? So, do these sets of people share anything, dyslexics and entrepreneurs? Why is it? Well, they are different in some respects from what they are, but they do share some traits and some typography. So dyslexics, we know, not very good with language, low self-esteem, don't like structure, but they're very resilient people. On the other hand, you've got entrepreneurs, highly, lots of confidence, uber confidence. They tend to come from a background of business owners, so they learn the trade, yeah? And they're determined individuals. They tend to take risks, but they're not gamblers. They'll take measured risks. They take a lot of risks, but they're measured risks. Now, these two groups of people do share things together. They're great at problem solving. They're highly motivated by mentors. They're good delegators. So if you think of people like Steve Jobs, who can actually innovation, God bless him, he's not here with us anymore, but that's the sort of thing you're looking at when you're looking at an entrepreneur. Think about some good entrepreneurs, what they do. Really good verbal speakers as well, and really good at public speaking. So I was talking to you before about these numbers, why it is? Well, I believe that if in large organisations, corporate businesses, they want to recruit the best people. We all do, don't we, if we want to recruit people. And we want to promote the best people to these jobs. Unfortunately for them, if they're looking to promote someone who's going to be motivating and innovating to the teams, then they're probably putting barriers in these tests that they put in place that prevent the ideal people they need from going above, because they'll either fail it or they're too nervous to go and take that test. And the other thing is dyslexics don't like structure, so they don't like the structure of the large corporate organisation, so they either stay at a low level, out of the limelight, or they move off and go and do something else. And I was talking to you before about entrepreneurs, quite a high level, 30%. I think it should be much higher than that, I really do. And I think it's because one thing that's preventing dyslexics becoming entrepreneurs is the confidence. That's one area we need to focus on, is focus on confidence with dyslexics to become entrepreneurs. And that's where I'm trying to focus my energies. Because when I was telling you before and why I think dyslexics are perfect, that's those systems I was saying where there's good and bad. When I'm over here as a non-dyslexic looking to solve a problem, a good example was Nokia. They bring out a better phone that would last for 6 months without even being on charge. You could throw it against the wall, brilliant, because they were stuck in this library of information, just what's in front of them, because the innovations on the other side, or history's over there, or science fiction, they're stuck here. Whereas I'm a dyslexic over here, and while I'm reading technology, I'm reading history, I'm reading science fiction, I'm reading all sorts of things, and it's free-flowing. So you can make links to things that other people can't, and you can create solutions to problems that exist, or even more importantly, you can create solutions to problems that we don't even know exist yet. That's the powerful thing. So if you've learned anything from what I've said today, if you know of a dyslexic out there, in your family, in your business, get them to focus on what they're good at, not what society, not what education tells us to be good at, what they're passionate about, because you might be promoting and encouraging the next Steve Jobs. My name's Kirk Pickstone, and I'm a dyslexic entrepreneur. I thank you.
Smile, be, chat, join for networking.